Okay.
Book 2, Part
Book
1.
2, Part 1. The section is the all-determining influence of thought, but it's into it a ways. It's just prior to the dawning of the lights of the six lokas. If you have the same book as we have, it's 172. I was just going to start at the top of the page because we kind of left off kind of half.
Yeah, we ran out of time. Well, I thought we were running out of time.
Does that help at all? I hope. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. Starts with the words, thus thinking. At least in my book, it starts.
This part is all downhill, you guys. If you've got this far, the way it looks to me, you need to do some heavy breathing or something. I forgot to bring those articles out. Did everybody see the emails that Bernie sent out today about the propensities of people today in today's society about death? They would rather live a shorter life, a good life, so they could have a good death. The 70%? 75% of the population says they'd rather take off how many months of their life, Bernie?
I can't remember.
7?
7 or something. I thought it was 7.
3 to 6 or something.
Yeah, they would give up 3 to 6 of good living life just to be able to die right, or die
Happy.
in
No.
a good way,
Peacefully.
in a peaceful way, rather than going through suffering and pain as they died on their way out. It would be best if you could die happy, because then you'd get a good start into the bardo or the transference if you died happy. Don't you think, Ron?
I think you would, but I think that survey, when you got them on their last 10 months of their life and say, well, you gave 8 of these up, so you only have 2. There might be a different story.
Second
there.
thoughts?
Yeah.
I don't know about, not for me, maybe the majority of
I'm just saying the majority would hook themselves up to some machine or go through some painful operation. Boy,
Oh my God. Oh, they're doing that.
They're doing it. I'm saying that's what that's the reality of what people are doing. I mean, they can fill out a survey any way they like, but I'm just telling you what people are doing right now.
George Meyer was telling us about what they do in Switzerland, and he said that they have a cocktail that they prepare at the last days, and he said it had LSD in it, didn't he?
That's interesting.
And morphine, and what else? A bunch of really good stuff.
Real nice cocktail.
And what they do is they give you it to you in 3 stages. I guess they get you really feeling good, just having an unbelievable time, and then they mellow everything out, take off all the edges, and then they give you a quick exit. Isn't that what it sounded like? The way he described it?
Yeah, people are taking trains to go to Switzerland to do it too. I saw a TV show about it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they had a show about a guy from London that he had a terminal illness and he was going downhill. He couldn't do anything in England, and so he got a doctor in Switzerland and flew to Switzerland to do this cocktail.
And he died there?
Yeah. They shipped his body back to England.
Wow.
I remember that.
That's pretty amazing. You would never find that in the United States, I don't think.
No, there's too much money to be made.
They put people in jail for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, they put
Kevorkian.
Gee,
Exactly.
unbelievable. And they even put you in jail if you don't give birth to a baby.
No.
And you don't.
Yeah, I know. Not to mention they'd arrest you for using drugs.
Yeah,
Even after you died.
they throw that one on there. Yeah, that's true. Wow. Amazing. You have to slip off on your own and do it on your own someplace.
Yeah.
You know, not get involved in the system. Or if you're in the system, get checked out and come home and have some friends take you and leave you someplace. And then them go away so they wouldn't get in trouble and do it yourself.
And then
That'd
have
be-
someone come pick you up again.
Pardon?
And have someone come pick you
Now
up.
don't leave me out here.
No,
Yeah.
what the problem with that is, it would be nice if you could die around your loved ones and stuff. You know, like I'd like to die around, have Gracie there when I died, so she could begin the transference right away, and jump on my bones, dead bones. You know, take this and take that. You dirty bugger! I'll give you even now. You're dead.
Is that part of
Why
the
do you think
transference?
they made mummies? Necrophilia's delight.
No kidding.
You know, Anyway, that would be fun, don't you think?
Yeah, it sounds like a good way to go.
I'd get a good start, you know? That'd be a good passage, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Oh yeah, copulating consort.
Yeah, all you
Boy,
do
that's-
is you take an overdose of Viagra, all the blood goes to your pecker, and take both sides.
Probably. The problem being is, I don't know about that. I don't know. If you've got terminal illness, I don't
You have
know.
that kind of mama form right there.
Yeah.
You'd need, I think, a little bit of, just really feel good and everything, and have people be nice to you and stuff, That way they do in Switzerland sounds really good. They get you really high, you feel really wonderful, they mellow it all out, and they give you a goodbye. See you on the other side. Over there, real quick one. What do you think about that, Stan? Do you think that's okay or bad?
What, with euthanasia?
Yeah.
I guess if a person, 70 years old and wants
Or
it,
80,
80,
and they're
what-
terminally ill.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, they're
It should
dying.
be their choice.
Yeah. Do you think it's fair?
You mean the way it is now, or what?
No, to do it.
Oh yeah. That's
You don't think God's going to get mad? Okay. As long as Stan says it's okay, we can do it.
Okay.
Should we get started? We were just getting your approval. We just want to make sure that we didn't do anything bad.
Well, I don't know. I just don't think it's an issue.
I don't either.
Not at that age.
Yeah. I mean, if you have if you're on your way out,
Yeah, you're on your way out.
and there's nothing that medical science can do at this time and age to reverse it, and you got 6 months or something like that, you might, before you get really in pain, you might want to cut 6 months off and have an enjoyable exit. I think they make books like that, or named that. Steve could find it on the internet. He's good at finding stuff.
What, an enjoyable exit?
Final exit.
Is that what it's called? I'd say an enjoyable exit would be better. Let's get a new book and go with that.
Okay, so top of page 172 for those who have this particular book. Thus thinking, put thy trust in them and exercise sincere love towards them. Then whatever is done for thee by those left behind will truly tend to thy benefit. Therefore, the exercise of that love is of much importance. Do not forget this. Again, even if thou wert to be born in one of the miserable states, and the light of that miserable state shone upon thee, yet by thy successors and relatives performing white is opposed to black, as in black magic or sorcery, religious rites unmixed with evil actions.
Oh, can I interrupt?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a great movie last night called The Mummies, the Mummy People in China, and they were all Caucasian. Where were they? What were they, Gracie? They were
Nordic.
Nordic. They were Nordic, and they had red and blonde hair. And
Oh, yeah.
One thing that was really interesting, one of them, okay, this is 3000 BC, something like that, way back. I don't know exactly when they dated them, but they had one of a priestess lady had a witch's hat on that was buried, one of the mummies, and it was part of the European custom. I think that's where they originated, and she practiced sorcery. And one of the originations of where the witch's hat came from, this mummy that was 3,000 years old. Amazing, huh? had a witch's hat on, like you see on the cartoons.
How long ago did they find those rings?
Just recently, in the late 80s, early 90s, but the hat was in perfect condition almost. It was unbelievable. These mummies are well preserved. You have to see them.
I've seen pictures.
But she had a witch's hat on.
Well,
It was on a Nova show. Pardon?
Yeah, but the witch means, it's from wicked, which means wise woman. It wasn't a bad thing back then.
I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying it was amazing to see that go that far back, you know, and see the sources and stuff of it.
And relatives performing white religious rites unmixed with evil actions, and the abbots and learned priests devoting themselves, body, speech, and mind, to the performance of the correct meritorious rituals. The delight from thy feeling greatly cheered at seeing them will, by its own virtue, so affect the psychological moment that, even though thou deservest a birth in the unhappy states, there will be brought about thy birth on a higher and happier plane. Therefore, thou shouldst not create impious thoughts, but exercise pure affection and humble faith towards all impartially. This is highly important. Hence be extremely careful. O nobly born, to sum up, thy present intellect in the intermediate state, having no firm object whereon to depend, being of little weight and continuously in motion. Whatever thought occurs to thee now, be it pious or impious, will wield great power. Therefore think not in thy mind of impious things, but recall any devotional exercises. Or if thou wert unaccustomed to any such exercises, show forth pure affection and humble faith. Pray to the compassionate one or to thy tutelary deities with full resolve. Utter this prayer.
This is the first time that they've mentioned affection, isn't it?
It seems like to me.
I haven't mentioned. They mentioned it.
I
up
haven't
here.
remembered
Up
that.
above it says. But exercise pure affection and humble faith towards all, impartially. This is highly important. Hence, be extremely careful. I guess they're not. You don't want to get a hate on or anything like that, and so they're shifting it a little bit to affection towards everybody. Not saying, avoid the bad guys or the good guys. They're saying affection towards all at this stage. This is the critical stage. They're saying walk lightly here. Okay.
Utter this prayer. Alas, while wandering alone, separated from loving friends, a footnote, where is now the help of my friends? Where be now the good behests of our kinsmen and others? When the vacuous reflected body of mine own mental ideas dawneth upon me, may the Buddhas, vouchsafing their power of compassion, grant that there shall be no fear, awe, or terror in the bardo. When experiencing miseries through the power of evil karma, may the tutelary deities dispel the miseries. When the thousand thunders of the sound of reality reverberate, may they all be sounds of the 6 syllables. When karma follows, without there being any protector, may the compassionate one protect me, I pray. When experiencing the sorrows of karmic propensities here, may the radiance of the happy clear light of samadhi shine upon me. Earnest prayer in this form will be sure to guide thee along. Thou mayst rest assured that thou wilt not be deceived. Of great importance is this. Through that being recited, again recollection cometh, and recognition and liberation will be achieved. The dawning of the lights of the 6 lokas. Introductions to the officiant. Yet, though this instruction be so oft repeated, if recognition be difficult, because of the influence of evil karma, much benefit will come from repeating these settings face to face many times over. Once more, then, call the deceased by name and speak as follows. O nobly born, if thou hast been unable to apprehend the above, Henceforth, the body of the past life will become more and more dim, and the body of the future life will become more and more clear. Saddened at this, thou wilt think, oh, what misery I am undergoing. Now whatever body I am to get, I shall go and seek it. So thinking, thou wilt be going hither and thither, ceaselessly and distractedly. Then there will shine upon thee the lights of the 6 samsaric lokas. The light of that place wherein thou art to be born, through power of karma, will shine most prominently. O nobly born, listen, if thou desirest to know what those 6 lights are. There will shine upon thee a dull white light from the Deva world, a dull green light from the Asura world, a dull yellow light from the human world, a dull blue light from the brute world, a dull red light from the Preta world, and a smoke-colored light from the hell world. And, footnote, here as before, the manuscript is faulty. It gives the lights as follows: white for the Deva world, red for the Ashura world, blue for the human world, green for the brute world, yellow for the Preta world, smoke-colored for the hell world. This error, apparently on the part of the copyist of the manuscript, has been corrected by the translator. At that time, by the power of karma, thine own body will partake of the color of the light of the place wherein thou art to be born. O nobly born, the special art of these teachings is especially important at this moment. Whichever light shineth upon thee now, meditate upon it as being the compassionate one. From whatever place the light cometh, consider that place to be or to exit in the compassionate one. This, Did I skip something?
Exist in the compassion.
Oh, to be or to exist in the compassionate one. This is an exceedingly profound art. It will prevent birth. Or whosoever thy tutelary deity may be, meditate upon the form for much time, as being apparent yet non-existent in reality, like a form produced by a magician. That is called the pure illusory form. Then let the visualization of the tutelary deity melt away from the extremities, till nothing at all remaineth visible of it, and put thyself in the state of the clearness and the voidness. There's a footnote. This expression, the clearness and the voidness, from the instructions following, seems to be synonymous with the clear light or the clear light and the voidness, which thou canst not conceive as something, and abide in that state for a little while. Again meditate upon the tutelary deity. Again meditate upon the clear light. Do this alternately. Afterwards, allow thine own intellect also to melt away gradually. Footnote. This process corresponds to the 2 stages of samadhi, the visualization stage and the perfected stage, beginning from the extremities. Wherever the ether pervadeth, consciousness pervadeth. Wherever consciousness pervadeth, the Dharmakaya pervadeth. Abide tranquilly in the uncreated state of the Dharmakaya. In that state, birth will be obstructed and perfect enlightenment gained.
Wow, you got a chance at the last shot there. Sounds like. How do you do that again? Abide tranquility under the state of the Dharmakaya.
In the uncreated state of the Dharmakaya, what does that mean? Abide tranquility in the uncreated state of the Dharmakaya. In that state, birth would be obstructed.
I don't know about getting out of your birth. You're going to have some kind of birth. I wouldn't fight that. Wouldn't you say, Rob?
An enlightenment would be gained by birth?
Pardon?
Enlightenment would be gained by birth?
Well, a form you can get it, in that state, birth will be obstructed and pure enlightenment gained. You don't want to necessarily risk it. you know, sometimes at the poker table, you know, and you're playing blackjack, and you've got 17, and the dealer says it's your turn. You can say be hit, and if you take too large of a card, and you go over 21, you lose.
Yeah.
And so you ought to always be aware of that. Sometimes don't take on too big of a bite in your transference. You might choke on it.
There's always that compensation.
Yeah, exactly. Compensation.
Part 2, the process of rebirth, the closing of the door of the womb. Instructions to the officiant. Again, if through great weakness in devotions and lack of familiarity one be not able to understand, illusion may overcome one, and one will wander to the doors of wombs. The instruction for the closing of the womb doors becometh very important. Call the deceased by name and say this: O nobly born, if thou hast not understood the above, at this moment, through the influence of karma, thou wilt have the impression that thou art either ascending or moving along on a level or going downwards. Thereupon meditate upon the compassionate one. Remember. Then, as said above, gusts of wind and icy blasts, hailstorms and darkness, and impression of being pursued by many people will come upon thee. On fleeing from these hallucinations, those who are unendowed with meritorious karma will have the impression of fleeing into places of misery. Those who are endowed with meritorious karma will have the impression of arriving in places of happiness. Thereupon, O nobly born, in whatever continent or place thou art to be born, the signs of that birthplace will shine upon thee then. For this moment there are several vital, profound teachings. Listen undistractedly. Even though thou hast not apprehended by the above settings face to face, here thou wilt, because even those who are very weak in devotions will recognize the signs. Therefore listen. Instructions to the officiant. Now it is very important to employ the methods of closing the womb door. Wherefore it is necessary to exercise the utmost care. There are two chief ways of closing: preventing the being who would enter from entering, and closing the womb door which might be entered. Method of preventing entry into a womb. The instructions for preventing the being from entering are thus: O nobly born so-and-so by name, whosoever may have been thy tutelary deity, tranquilly meditate upon him, as upon the reflection of the moon in water, apparent yet non-existent as a moon, like a magically produced illusion. If thou hast no special tutelary, meditate either upon the compassionate Lord or upon me, and with this in mind meditate tranquilly. Then, causing the visualized form of the tutelary deity to melt away from the extremities, meditate, without any thought forming, upon the vacuous clear light. This is a very profound art. In virtue of it, a womb is not entered. The first method of closing the womb door. In that manner meditate, but even though this be found inadequate to prevent thee from entering into a womb, and if thou findest thyself ready to enter into one, then there is the profound teaching for closing the womb door. Listen thou unto it. When at this time, alas, the Siddha Bardo is dawning upon oneself, holding in mind one single resolution, persist in joining up the chain of good karma. A footnote. To obtain results, the accumulated merit, born of good actions done in the earth life, must be made operative. That is, it must be linked with the bardo existence of the deceased. Close up the womb door and remember the opposition. A footnote. Normally, existence in the bardo ever tends to lead the deceased back to birth, and this is due to karmic propensities, which are the opposition, the forces opposing the enlightenment of Buddhahood. Hence the deceased must oppose this innate tendency with every help available. This is a time when earnestness and pure love are necessary. Abandon jealousy and meditate upon the Guru, Father, Mother. Repeat this from thine own mouth distinctly, and remember its meaning vividly and meditate upon it. The putting of this into practice is essential. The significance of the above teaching when at this time the Siddha Bardo is dawning upon me, or upon oneself, is that now thou art wandering in the Siddha Bardo. As a sign of this, if thou lookest into water or into mirrors, thou wilt see no reflection of thy face or body, nor doth thy body cast any shadow. Thou hast discarded now thy gross material body of flesh and blood. These are the indications that thou art wandering about in the Siddha Bardo. At this time thou must form without distraction one single resolve in thy mind. The forming of one single resolve is very important now. It is like directing the course of a horse by the use of the reins. Whatever thou desirest will come to pass. Think not upon evil actions which might turn the course of thy mind. Remember thy spiritual relationship with the reader of this Bardo Thodal, or with anyone from whom thou hast received teachings, initiation, or spiritual authorization for reading religious texts while in the human world, and persevere in going on with good acts. This is very essential. Be not distracted. The boundary line between going upwards or going downwards is here now. If thou givest way to indecision for even a second, thou wilt have to suffer misery for a long, long time. This is the moment. Hold fast to one single purpose. Persistently join up the chain of good acts. Thou hast come now to the time of closing the womb door. This is a time when earnestness and pure love are necessary, which implieth that now the time hath come when, first of all, the womb door should be closed, there being 5 methods of closing. Bear this well at heart. The second method of closing the womb door. O nobly born, at this time thou wilt see visions of males and females in union. When thou seest them, remember to withhold thyself from going between them. Regarding the Father and Mother as thy Guru and the Divine Mother, footnote, the Father and Mother are the male and female seen in union. The Guru is the celestial or spiritual Guru, not the human Guru, and the Divine Mother is the Guru's Shakti.
Shakti.
Consort, isn't it?
Actually, it means girlfriend, that actual word.
It's like-
Shakti.
Read it one more time.
It would be the
Start.
But,
Read.
yeah,
Start from the bottom of the next page and read it again.
You want me to start the second method?
Yeah.
O nobly born, at this time thou wilt see visions of males and females in union. When thou seest them, remember to withhold them thyself from going between them. Regarding the Father and Mother as thy Guru and the Divine Mother.
Okay. Now.
The Father and Mother are the male and female seen in union. The Guru is the celestial or spiritual Guru, not the human Guru. And the Divine Mother is the Guru's Shakti.
And the Shakti is what?
It means girlfriend.
I would say the consort.
But, yeah,
And
that's
consort.
what they're, but
Yeah.
the actual word,
Yeah.
which is kind of like the same thing.
Meditate upon them and bow down. Humbly exercise thy faith. Offer up mental worship with great fervency, and resolve that thou wilt request of them religious guidance. By that resolution alone the womb ought certainly to be closed. But if it is not closed even by that, and thou findest thyself ready to enter into it, meditate upon the Divine Guru, Father, Mother. Footnote, that is the Guru with the Shakti as above directed. As upon thy tutelary, as upon any tutelary deity, or upon the compassionate tutelary and Shakti, and meditating upon them, worship them with mental offerings. Resolve earnestly that thou wilt request of them a boon. By this, the womb door ought to be closed. The third method of closing the womb door. Still, if it be not closed even by that, and thou findest thyself ready to enter the womb, the third method of repelling attachment and repulsion is hereby shown unto thee. There are 4 kinds of birth: birth by egg, birth by womb, supernormal birth. 3, there's an footnote. Supernormal or miraculous birth by translation or transference of the consciousness principle from one loka to another. And birth by heat and moisture. Footnote. This refers to the germination of seeds and spores, or the processes of birth in the vegetable kingdom. Amongst these 4, and there's a footnote, Brahmanism likewise recognizes, is that right? No, wait. No, wrong footnote. This refers to the, no, that's correct. I was right. Okay, sorry. Oh, yeah. Amongst these 4, okay, Brahmanism likewise recognizes 4 kinds of birth: sweat-born or moisture-born, egg-born, womb-born, and vegetation. Birth by egg and birth by womb agree in character. As above said, the visions of males and females in union will appear. If at that time one entereth into the womb through the feelings of attachment and repulsion, one may be born either as a horse, a fowl, a dog, or a human being. Footnote. Esoterically, this passage implies that in accordance with karma, one may be reborn with the peculiar propensities which the various animals named symbolize. Plato in the Republic has employed animal symbols in the same way. If about to be born as a male, the feeling of itself being a male dawneth upon the knower, and a feeling of intense hatred towards the father and of jealousy and attraction towards the mother is begotten. If about to be born as a female, the feeling of itself being a female dawneth upon the knower, and a feeling of intense hatred towards the mother and of intense attraction and fondness towards the father is begotten. Through this secondary cause, when entering upon the path of ether, just at the moment when the sperm and the ovum are about to unite, the knower experienceth the bliss of the simultaneously born state, during which state it fainteth away into unconsciousness. Afterwards, it findeth itself encased in oval form, in the embryonic state, and upon emerging from the womb and opening its eyes, it may find itself transformed into a young dog. Formerly it had been a human being, but now it has become it. But now, if it have become a dog, it findeth itself undergoing sufferings in a dog's kennel, or perhaps as a young pig in a pigsty, or as an ant in an anthill, or as an insect or a grub in a hole, or as a calf or a kid or a lamb. Footnote. Herein we see the animal symbolism expanded in such manner as quite to parallel the passage in Plato's Republic describing the choosing of animal bodies for the next incarnation. The popular or exoteric interpretation of such passages in our text as this passage would seem to be as reasonable as it would if applied to similar passages in Plato. And furthermore, the copyist and possibly the composer or composers of the Bardo Thodol may have been exotericists, or at least intended their text to emphasize the exoteric interpretation, holding as priests often have held, and as some hold even nowadays, that fear-producing doctrines, for example, the Christian doctrine that hell is an eternal condition, although literally untrue, are nevertheless like whips to keep the lower mentalities alert and possibly more virtuous. Nonetheless, for our own more or less corrupted text, as for Plato's, there does exist the esoteric key to the real meaning, such as we have given in our introduction. From which shape there is no immediate returning. dumbness, stupidity, and miserable intellectual obscurity are suffered, and a variety of sufferings experienced. In like manner, one may wander into hell or into the world of unhappy ghosts, or throughout the 6 lokas and endure inconceivable miseries. Those who are voraciously inclined towards this, for example, samsaric existence, or those who do not at heart fear it, O dreadful, alas, and those who have not received a guru's teachings will fall down into the precipitous depths of the samsara in this manner and suffer interminably and unbearably.
Wow, that was an interesting statement. What did they say there? In that last paragraph, what was the teachings? Pardon?
Those who are voraciously inclined towards this, the samsaric existence, or those who do not at heart fear it, O dreadful, alas, and those who have not received a guru's teachings will fall down into the precipitous depths of the samsara in this manner and suffer interminably and unbearably.
They're saying that if you don't have a guru's teachings, you're going to have problems. Is that what they said? I don't know about that. I don't think it's as bad as they try to make it out. I think you could call a guru a bishop at a Mormon church, or in context here, or a minister in the Baptist church, wouldn't you say? Gee? Or, if you receive teachings from any religion, most likely will, at least if you live the guidelines of the religion, you will fall into it.
I don't think it's the guidelines of the religions that set you free, but the stuff that blocks your progress that religion doesn't see, and we ourselves don't see it. I mean, I think it's the stuff inside of you that bothers you, that is giving you problems.
That I would agree with that, but what we're saying here is that everybody will do as well as they're doing in life. That's all we're talking about. And I'm telling everybody not to worry that you're going to go down to hell or anything like that. Yeah, Shaq?
I was reading, Bernie posted the Tibetan book that did, and I was reading over that online today, and at somewhere in the beginning here it mentions that a guru is a being or a person that sets you face to face, as it says, with a state of silence or peace.
Right. And I would say that too, but also I would say that as long as your karma is good in your religion, no matter what religion you are,
Right.
that you will do very, very well in your next incarnation. I wouldn't say that everybody out there who doesn't have a guru sitting
Right.
face to face with you is going to have a real big problem in the transference.
Right.
I wouldn't.
That was the impression that I got. It's the thing that brings you, that shows you peace, I guess, within
Right.
life. Or silence.
Yeah. And Al was concerned about this at first, about all the things that they were saying, all the problems that they have and everything. And as long as you keep your attention away from the problems, I think you pretty well got it made. What you don't want to do is try to conjure up a bunch of stuff when you die. Like thinking about hell or thinking about problems with your family, that you had, or what's going on with your people you left behind, your kids, or your spouse or whatever. All those things you want to be happy about. That one thing that it said in there, have affection towards everybody. That's it didn't say love. That's love the world and all that kind of stuff, that hokey pokey stuff,
Right.
that they talk about, I would say, is sort of a fantasy. But if you had affection towards everybody in your transference, it would probably make it very, very easy for you to have a good incarnation. A very good incarnation.
Mickey says, why wait? Why not everybody do it now?
Yeah, really.
Who said that?
Mickey.
Mickey. Hey, Mickey, don't worry.
That's true.
We've been thinking about that, but not as a group. I'm getting old, and when you get old, you drop dead someday, and so everybody gets old. Right, Ron?
Yeah.
How many years do you think you got left? 50?
No way.
40?
I don't know.
30? That'd make you 90.
Sometimes in the daytime I can feel 30. Sometimes when I get up in the morning it feels like 10.
That's fair. Anyway, everybody gets older and kicks the bucket, so you ought to try to prepare for your death as much as possible, and don't avoid things. If you're going to prepare for it, you got to start preparing now. You can't put it off, because you'll put it off until you drop dead. If you don't start working on it tomorrow, and doing something about it tomorrow, you're not going to do anything about it at all. You got to make a decision to do something. What did you say, Ron? Pre-need?
Absolutely.
People that say they're going to do it, don't do it, right? The people that decide they're going to do it, do it.
So that's
So you got to start now. It doesn't matter how old you are. And they say that people that prepare for their death are happier
I am.
throughout their whole life.
I am
Are you?
happier than ever before.
Since you're preparing for your death,
Yeah,
you're
I
happy.
am
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah, you get happier as time goes on, because you realize it's going to happen. It's not something that you're trying to hide from.
Yeah, but everybody you talk to, they hate it. But if the ones that actually you talk to and you show the wisdom in it, by the time when they sign and give you their check, they are so happy
That they prepare.
that they have dealt with it. And
They've only
faced
taken
it.
one step, though. All they're doing is preparing for their burial.
Yeah.
They haven't prepared mentally to leave
No.
the world and stuff. Like they got so many attachments, things that they.
But they have come to realize, because that's the big step when you talk to people,
Mhm.
to accept the fact that they're going to die.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
That is a
Most
big-
people don't ever accept that until it's over with, and that's because then you're in trauma. And if you can do it during life, accept that you're going to die, then it's really amazing. Once you accept that you're going to die, you drop most all your anger, because there's nothing to be angry about. Because the only reason you get angry is because you're afraid of dying in some distant form. You're going to lose something, or you get angry because your relatives are going to run off with your stuff because you won't be there to manage it. You won't be there to hold on to your house or your car, your wheels, or
Well, we're
whatever.
going to steal everything now because you can't protect any of it anymore.
Right, you
So
can't.
you're going to lose everything.
Or you get jealous of things that are happening with your stuff or things like that. So those things. But if you prepare and you really do feel, like you're letting go and dropping those things, then those things don't have a great hold on you. That's why mummification and transference are so good. It is such a nice path to be conscious of. It's such a nice path to be conscious of. It's a liberating path. And you can choose the dose of liberation you would like. It's your choice.
When you're young, you think you live forever, and when you prepare for your death, it's another feeling of living forever.
You are. You're because you don't ever really die. Your essence doesn't die. It's eternal. It's the paradox to the whole situation. Everything else dies but your essence. There's got to be a paradox to everything dying. You've got to be something that doesn't die. That's your essence. It's only logical. In the opposites. Should we go on?
Rather than meet with a like fate, listen thou unto my words and bear these teachings of mine at heart. Reject the feelings of attraction or repulsion, and remember one method of closing the womb door, which I am going to show thee now. Whatever. Close the womb door and remember the opposition. This is the time when earnestness and pure love are necessary. As hath been said, abandon jealousy and meditate upon the Guru, Father, Mother. As above explained, if to be born as a male, attraction towards the mother and repulsion towards the father, and if to be born as a female, attraction towards the father and repulsion towards the mother, together with a feeling of jealousy for one or the other, which ariseth, will dawn upon thee. For that time there is a profound teaching. O nobly born, when the attraction and repulsion arise, meditate as follows. Alas, what a being of evil karma am I, that I have wandered into the samsara hitherto, hath been owing to attraction and repulsion. If I still go on feeling attraction and repulsion, then I shall wander in endless samsara and suffer in the ocean of misery for a long, long time by sinking therein. Now I must not act through attraction and repulsion. Alas for me, henceforth I will never act through attraction and repulsion. Meditating thus, resolve firmly that thou wilt hold on to that resolution. It hath been said in the Tantras, the door of the womb will be closed up by that alone. O nobly born, be not distracted. Hold thy mind one-pointedly upon that resolution. The fourth method of closing the womb door. Again, even if that doth not close the womb, and one findeth oneself ready to enter the womb, then by means of the teaching called the untrue and the illusory, footnote, non-true and illusion-like, the title of a Tibetan treatise on the unreality of phenomena. The untrue and the illusory, the womb should be closed. That is to be meditated as follows. O the pair, the father and the mother, the black rain, the storm blasts, the clashing sounds, the terrifying apparitions, and all the phenomena are, in their true nature, illusions. Howsoever they may appear, no truth is there in them. All substances are unreal and false. Like dreams and like apparitions are they. They are non-permanent. They have no fixity. What advantage is there in being attached to them? What advantage is there in having fear and terror of them? It is the seeing of the non-existent as the existent. All these are hallucinations of one's own mind. The illusory mind itself doth not exist from eternity. Therefore, where should these external phenomena exist? I, by not having understood these things in that way hitherto, have held the non-existent to be the existent, the unreal to be the real, the illusory to be the actual, and have wandered in the samsara so long. And even now, if I do not recognize them to be illusions, then, wandering in the samsara for long ages, I shall be certain to fall into the morass of various miseries. Indeed, all these are like dreams, like hallucinations, like echoes, like the cities of odor eaters.
God, can you believe it?
Dr. Scholl's
made up a thing for your shoes?
out of the borrowed photo.
Yeah, amazing, huh?
Odor eaters, the fairies of Indian and Buddhist mythology. These cities are fantastically shaped clouds which dissolve in rain and vanish. Like the cities of the odor eaters, like mirage, like mirrored forms, like phantasmagoria, like the moon seen in water, not real even for a moment. In truth, they are unreal, they are false. By holding one pointedly to that train of thought, the belief that they are real is dissipated, and that being impressed upon the inner continuity of consciousness, one turneth backwards. If the knowledge of the unreality be impressed deeply in that way, the womb door will be closed. The fifth method of closing the womb door. Still, even when this is done, if the holding phenomena as real remaineth undissolved, the womb door is not closed, and if one be ready to enter into the womb, thereupon one should close the womb door by meditating upon the clear light, this being the fifth method. The meditation is performed as follows. Lo, all substances are mine own mind. There's a footnote. Consciousness principle. The translator preferred to follow the context here and rendered this as mind, as synonymous with consciousness. and this mind is vacuousness, is unborn and unceasing. Thus meditating, allow the mind to rest in the uncreated state, like, for example, the pouring of water into water. The mind should be allowed its own easy mental posture, in its natural or unmodified condition, clear and vibrant. By maintaining this relaxed, uncreated state of mind, the womb doors of the 4 kinds of birth, as mentioned before, are sure to be closed. Meditate thus until the closing is successfully accomplished. Instructions to the efficient. Many very profound teachings for closing the womb door have been given above. It is impossible that they should not liberate people of the highest, the average, and the lowest intellectual capacity. If it be asked why this should be so, it is because, firstly, the consciousness in the bardo possessing supernormal power of perception. Footnote, referring to certain gifts of supernormal perception, of which 6 are commonly enumerated: supernormal vision and hearing, thought reading, knowledge of miraculous power, recollection of former existences, knowledge of the destruction of the passions. For the ordinary deceased person, such supernormal power of perception is limited or exhaustible, and only operative in the after-death state. Whereas for a Buddha or a devotee perfected in yoga, it is a permanent and unlimited possession on all planes of consciousness. There's 3. Of a limited kind, whatever is spoken to one then is apprehended. Secondly, because although formerly deaf or blind, here at this time all one's faculties are perfect, and one can hear whatever is addressed to one. Thirdly, being continually pursued by awe and terror, one thinketh what is best, and being alertly conscious, one is always coming to hear whatever may be told to one. Since the consciousness is without a prop, that is, without the human plain body to depend upon, it immediately goeth to whatever place the mind directeth. Fourthly, it is easy to direct it. Footnote, fourthly, turning the mouth of the consciousness principle or knower, as of a horse with a bit, is easy. The memory, a footnote, train or stream of consciousness, usually meaning consciousness or recollection or memory, is 9-fold more lucid than before. Even though stupid before, at this time, by the workings of karma, the intellect becometh extremely clear and capable of meditating whatever is taught to it. Hence the answer is, it is because it, the knower, possesseth these virtues. That the performance of funeral rites should be efficacious is, likewise, because of that reason. Therefore, the perseverance in the reading of the great Bardo Thodol for 49 days is of the utmost importance. Even if not liberated at one setting face to face, one ought to be liberated at another. This is why so many different settings face to face are necessary. You want to stop or go on?
Yeah. We can stop here.
Okay.
I have a
Did you
question.
bring the thing for the box? Didn't you say you knitted a?
Yeah,
Oh, for
she
inside.
put it away.
Pardon?
I used it in the last
I didn't
sermon.
knit it, I sewed it.
You sewed it as what now?
It's
I
for the
used it
nectar
on there.
thing.
Oh, I thought it was for that box.
Do you need
That
one
box.
for
in there.
you?
No, we don't need one. So that's why I wondered why you were saying this. But it went in there. Great. I'll look at it. Thank you.
You had a question, Chad?
Yeah. It's, all these go through steps, like if they miss, if they don't make the first step, then there's the second step, and then if they miss the second step, there's the third, and so on and so forth. How do you know when they've obtained the liberation?
I think he said you need to read the whole book through, even though you may feel that they've obtained liberation.
Oh, I see.
To their mummy. Even if they've already incarnated, maybe a baby screaming next to you or something like that.
Right.
But in the 49 days.
Okay.
So just continue on with it. Although most people don't have that happen because they don't have a guru that will do it,
Right.
or if they live in the wrong types of places, they didn't give the guru enough money at death, and so they only give them 24 hours worth. Is that what it said earlier?
Yeah.
At the beginning? Or a day's worth, or a week's worth, I guess. And so you better get tied into the right spot. So you make sure that you get some good transference going for you. I guess if you were giving people good transference, it would build good karma for you to be able to have a good transference for yourself. But if you weren't helping other people with it, you know, assisting people in their things of their life, then there may not be anybody to assist you. So that might be one way to go about it. Help out.
So I got some hope.
I don't know about whether you want hope.
Right.
I wouldn't hope for it. I'd just do it.
Right.
Then you don't have to hope. If you do those things, you got good karma. If you don't do those things, you just got regular karma, which isn't good. It's not bad, but just regular. But if you're real nice to the Baptist minister, you got good karma, right, Steve?
Right.
Or to the Mormon bishop, you know, or whatever leader, or the Catholic priest, you know, or the Buddhist monk. What do Hindus have? What do they call them? Gurus. I think they're called gurus too. Hindus have gurus.
Yeah.
Well, we better finish. The shed is almost done out there, you guys. So we'll be able to start getting painting.